I got to say, every week when I get in my chair here and listen to that intro music, getting ready for the stream, I'm usually filled with quite a bit of joy hearing that old William Tell overture. But I got to say, not tonight. I hope everyone is buckled in for this one because this is going to be a very fiery stream, to say the least. I am very particularly fired up and pissed off tonight, so everyone buckle up. But let's first introduce the rest of the panel, and we'll get through the opening shillings as we have to. And then we have to talk about some very, very hard truths tonight, everyone. So first, welcome back to the show, Mr. Raging Mandrill. Always a pleasure to speak with you, my friend. How are you?
I'm excellent. I have returned once more to our beloved Thursday streams.
Yes, indeed. Our chimping correspondent, as you are, our simian in chief. Yes.
Always be chimping. Always be
Yes.
chimping. ABC. A, always B, B, C, chimping. Always be chimping.
It's kind of funny how it is. Remember your ABCs, folks. Anyway. All right. And we got Mr. John Esten Cooke is back with us once again. How are you, my friend?
Doing all right. Could be doing better, but pleased to be here tonight.
Yes, indeed. Well, we'll get started here shortly, but first, we got to keep the lights on over here at the OGC headquarters. So, as always, everyone, even though White Boy Summer has officially drawn to a close, I think we're in the first days of fall now, right? But you should still be shredded. Head on over to Axios Remote Fitness and Coaching if you guys want to get ripped. White Boy Summer will return once again next year, and everyone better be prepared for it. All right. In addition to that, if you guys want your caffeine fix, head over to Fox & Sons Coffee to get some of the best coffee on the online right. I've heard nothing but fantastic reviews from all of you coffee drinkers out there. So head on over to Fox & Sons Coffee. And then, of course, we here at the OGC are friends of Big Tobacco. So please head on over to Alp Nicotine Pouches. Use promo code OGC, get yourself a nice discount, and you can get your nicotine fix because, as we all know, nicotine is the right-wing drug. I don't want any of our guys, participating in marijuana or any of these other pathetic, loser drugs that bring up your estrogen levels and make you gay. So
I thought alcohol was the right-wing drug. I thought you beer hall punches were like a thing.
That's a good one too. Yeah. But anyway, so head on over to Alp, get yourself a nicotine pouch. All right. So if people listened to the show last week, it was actually a nice bit of a change of pace, I would say. Myself and Mr. Paul Fahrenheit gave our members of the Trump team their grades for the week. We graded the broader right-wing sphere as a whole, some of the major figures that were talking and speaking the right words in this last week. A week after that, I'm just going to be very blunt, guys. It's been a very, very shitty week all around with almost nothing to praise whatsoever. It has been really, really ugly. And the thing we have to talk about first tonight is yet another left-wing terror attack that occurred in our country at this ICE facility in Dallas yesterday. So let's open with this one. Yeah, here we go. A few things happened this week. Yeah, none of the good kinds of things happened. All right. Again, I mentioned this last week, but I want to put this in context once again for everyone. It has been 6 weeks now of basically nonstop leftist terrorism in the United States in some form or another, whether it's stabbings in the middle of inner cities, whether it's school shootings, whether it's shootings at churches for little kids, whether it's troons shooting at ICE agents, whether it's this most recent ICE attack, whether it's assassinations of people like Charlie Kirk. And we're going to get to this nonsense that went on in the UN yesterday, which way too many people are underplaying the significance of that. We'll get to that soon as well. But it has been a very, very brutal 6 weeks in this country. The violence is just off the charts for anything that is acceptable in the most powerful country in the history of the world. Okay. And here we have yesterday morning in the wee hours, 7 o'clock local time, another left-wing terrorist gets on top of a building and opens fire at an ICE facility in Dallas, killing 2 ICE detainees. Maybe they were illegal immigrants. Maybe they were, criminals. We don't know the details of this. I mean, obviously this guy radicalized once again by left-wing rhetoric of one form or another, kills these 2 people in the back seat, doesn't kill any of the ICE agents or wound any of them. The guy decides to seek some Canadian healthcare afterwards, so we don't have to deal with him anymore. But again, this is just 100% caused at this point by the Trump team's inaction in all of this stuff. It's been 15 days since Charlie Kirk was brutally murdered in front of our eyes, and we basically have literally nothing to show for it at this point, aside from some harsh speeches, a couple executive orders that have been signed, but there have been no arrests. Apparently, we've lost the Troon lovers. The guy who was the assassinated Charlie Kirk. Apparently, his Troon lover is now missing, and the FBI just fucking lost him. I mean, who's running shit here? Discuss, gentlemen, the uptick in violence, this ICE attack. Things are looking bad, man.
I just want to say, imagine how much of a loser you have to be like frantically scribbling, anti-ICE on your shitty, probably 60-year-old Russian-made ammunition and your crappy stripper clip, and that's how you want to go out. What a fucking loser.
Yeah, I mean, imagine bringing a bolt-action rifle against dudes who are armed with shotguns and AR-15s. I mean, come on.
Nah, he just wants to LARP as that guy from Enemy at the Gates. That's what he wanted to fucking do.
Vasily Zaitsev over here, right?
I mean, we just had the announcement of Hassan and all these other leftist tools, are going to have one of these gatherings called the Anti-ICE Gathering. It's like, oh, okay, literally a day after they announced this stuff, we got a shooter etching the exact same stuff on bullets and then firing them at ICE facilities, which, by the way, this isn't the first time this has happened, firing at an ICE facility in Texas. We also had the shootings by Antifa activists in, New Hampshire or Vermont? It was right on the northern border. This is like maybe 2 months ago now. They shot and killed 3 police officers. We had that shooting that was going on at the ABC facility last week in California in response to taking Jimmy Kimmel off the air, which he's back now. It's just like, wow, terrorism literally works. If you're a left winger, right? You could just do violence at a TV station. The guy gets let back on air. I mean, just the left is getting rewarded for their violence right now. And the Trump administration is just doing nothing about it. Pam Bondi is on her desk. I don't know what the fuck she's doing. Snorting cocaine, talking about old women shit. I don't know what the hell she's doing. Being ineffective. Again, like I just mentioned, we got Kash Patel, who should be cleaning a latrine somewhere in New Delhi. Not actually running the FBI. Apparently, they now lost Tyler Robinson's lover. What the fuck, man?
Yeah. What the fuck?
I'm just absolutely flabbergasted by this whole scenario of events and like left-wing violence. I mentioned it on my previous Pony Express stream. This has been something that has been occurring with intermittent frequency for the last decade now. At this point, now it is becoming far less random. It is becoming much more targeted, much more specific on very specific targets that are either conservative or right-wing or pro-America coded. And like it's not deniable anymore what's going on, right? This is a pattern now. And one of the patterns that I see, which I brought up last night in Mr. D's Twitter space, which is the pattern of martyrdom, you might call it, and who's got more dedication, who's got the people who are actually willing to die for cause, basically. And like one of the sad things about this is like obviously the left has people who are willing to pit their shitty 60-year-old 70-year-old Czech bolt action rifle against AR-15s, and even if there's two solutions to this, or there's two scenarios really. One is they can sustain this and nothing is done on the Trump admin, and this just keeps happening. It keeps happening until an effective victory by the left is achieved, despite losses. Or B, they continue these style of attacks and they lose continuously. They lose personnel and they figure out that, okay, this isn't working. We have to change tactics. Or they just lose outright because we disrupt their networks totally. So that's scenario number 3, I guess. So that's really what the outcomes of this whole, situation are, basically, as far as I can tell.
I mean, in addition to this, ICE shooting right here, I just want to show a clip right now from Fox News. We showed a clip of Trey Gowdy a couple weeks ago because he had a really retarded take. Let's see him double down on his retarded takes once again with this one. Buckle up, folks, if you haven't seen this.
I want to know, if he was shooting at detainees, then we got a problem, because due process does not include a citizen taking a shot at somebody, no matter how long they've been in the country and now no matter how illegally. But if they're
Oh, yeah. So according to Trey Gowdy, this is just another right-winger who's taking shots and taking things into his own hands, trying to execute ICE detainees because the Trump administration isn't going hard enough on immigration.
Yeah, I guarantee you that is a symptom of the general fear of a lot of the older, more establishment types on the GOP who are afraid of losing control of the situation, and they think the correct way forward is to constantly say, we're better than this, we fight evil with good, violence doesn't solve anything, it's a both sides problem, we need to tone down the rhetoric, whatever. We've heard endless iterations of this in the past 2 weeks now. I guarantee you that what Trey Gowdy just said, inexcusable as it is, that's probably where this kind of retarded take is coming from.
Well, I suppose that's going to be one of the big topics we have in response to this, okay? Because we've seen all kinds of cope this week, and I despise using this term. I despise using this word. I hate it when people use it unjustly against people like us all the time. But really, these kinds of points that people are making about defending the inaction from the Trump team over the last couple of weeks here, okay? And I'm talking about all the kinds of people who were counter-signaling about getting leftists fired for dancing on Charlie Kirk's grave, going after Jimmy Kimmel, going after, XYZ left-wing organizations or what have you. I mean, what the fuck are these people thinking at this point of this argument of, well, just imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine when the left wing gets back into power, what they're going to do. They are literally shooting people in the street. And it is almost every single fucking day now. Everywhere. It's all over the country. There might even one be going on right now as we're recording the stream, for all I know. What the fuck are you talking about that the shoe is going to be put on the other foot when the Democrats get back into power? They're literally shooting people.
It's like when you're playing football, if you have the ball, it's oh no, we don't want to score a touchdown. What if they score a touchdown when they get the ball back?
Oh my God.
It's such ridiculous logic. It's
I'm so done with this shit. I'm so done all the way. And in addition to this, what is the great Republican plan that we're going to have 2 weeks now and change since Charlie Kirk has been assassinated? The number one thing that we're going to put forth is 400,000 silver eagles with this face on it to give the boomer Fox News watchers another fucking thing that they can collect and waste their money on instead of solving the fucking problem. Wonderful. Great.
Yeah, we gotta
Here
do
we
something
go.
for the GDP, man.
Yeah, here we go. Minting legacy. House Republicans plan to introduce a bill this week directing the U.S. Treasury to mint 400,000 silver dollar coins bearing Charlie Kirk's likeness. What the fuck is this, man? How about guess what? House Republicans introduced bill today calling for the arrests of 400,000 Antifa members. How about that? No, guys. I know exactly how we're going to fight the left and how we're going to win. We're going to put Charlie Kirk's face on a silver dollar.
How about we get legislation removing all H-1B visas immediately? How about we get legislation reducing immigration? How about there's 1,000 different things that they could do that's more effective than this in terms of breaking leftist power. 1,000 things. And we know exactly what those things are. We've told them multiple times.
This is so crazy to me that they're thinking about doing this right now when they've done literally nothing else. This is something after, a couple of years from now, after we've actually won, after we actually thrown these enemies in jail, then we could do something like celebrate, and honor our fallen, honor our martyrs. It's dude, you've literally done nothing. You've done absolutely nothing. What am I supposed to do with this? And then to see people defend this in response with saying, oh my God, guys, I almost exploded yesterday when I saw people in the comment section going off on this saying, oh, well, actually, silver is a good store of value. What do you mean this is worthless? Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It's not the point.
No.
It's not the point.
Trees.
What are you going to use? What are you going to do with this silver dollar? When the economy's completely collapsed and we're really shooting every single right winger in the street, what are you going to buy with that silver dollar with Charlie Kirk's face on it? Ugh.
Yeah, the guy who introduced this bill is August Pfluger of Texas, and inside the Beltway and inside the Hill, he is a complete fucking joke. So when I saw that it was him leading this charge, I was not surprised in the least. If you've ever seen a picture of this guy, he looks exactly like your like stereotypical stupid Republican congressman backbencher.
And the retardedness and the stupidity isn't just with the Republicans in the House, right? The other angle that has been going off in this last week, people were able to keep this down a little bit when we had the show last Thursday, but it has just exploded in this last week of magic bullet theories, and Charlie Kirk was actually shot from below, not from above on high on a building. I mean, I'm just going to start tweeting pictures of Candace Owens and every one of these people that start talking like this, man. Like, there needs to be a zero tolerance policy for people doing like JFK conspiratard, revisionism nonsense, magic bullet bullshit about, the Charlie Kirk assassination. You people are literally just giving ammunition to the left for all these characters like the Krasensteins, like Jimmy Kimmel, everybody like this, where the strategy clearly is now we're going to flood the zone with as much fake shit as possible so we don't have to, defend the left-wing position from covering up this kinds of depravity. What the fuck are people doing going on like these ridiculous arguments thinking that, if we just get to the truth at the bottom of the matter, then that magically means we win or something like this? Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? We've had the greatest opportunity ever to actually get some momentum going, and already our side of the internet is just going down autistic rabbit holes and being retarded, saying, oh man, we really got to get to the bottom of this one. And I have some evidence that one YouTube live streamer came up with one time, and a bunch of idiots from the UK who know nothing about guns are talking about magic deflecting bullets from body armor that wasn't there and it hit him in the neck. It's like, what the fuck are you people talking about, man?
Also, body armor doesn't really stop rifle caliber rounds, does it?
It depends. It depends on what grade of body armor you're using. Typically,
but we're not even going to even engage in any of this kind of shit on the show at this point. Like, even acknowledging this stuff, it's just wasting time. Like, what are we doing? It's been a very depressing week. It's very, very upsetting for so many people who should know better, man.
I think engaging in stupid conspiracy theories makes stupid people feel very smart.
Oh, there's certainly that. No, but man, oh man, it's what? Here's the next thing we can go to on this one. The disappointments don't stop here, fellas. We can go to what the Trump team decided to tweet out this week, because they've, while I agree to some point that the White House definitely needs to be, revamped and redesigned every couple decades or so, putting up all these gold portraits of all the presidents, and then at the very end, we got a picture of Joe Biden's auto pen next to President Trump. It's like, okay, I get it. It's funny, right? But this is 2 weeks now since Charlie Kirk's assassination, and here we have our own Charlemagne saying it perfectly. This used to be funny, but it's not funny anymore. Show us people in jail. People are the end of legally at the end, he's supposed to say, of legally commissioned nooses. We aren't amused by the antics anymore. I mean, this just gets right to the point.
Put the president in jail. Don't forget that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, okay, so basically what you're saying with this is, well, the Democrats get to overturn a democratic election in the United States in 2020 by openly rigging it, and then replace the presidency with an auto pen with people we have, God knows who actually was pardoned, God knows who were actually in charge, who was in charge of the nuclear codes, who was the person who was actually in charge of the country. No, this isn't just like a joke you get to put on a portrait and stuck in the White House, and we could all laugh at Joe Biden and make jokes about it, dude. Like, this is high crimes. This is treason. How come nobody's in jail for this? How come nobody's at the end of a rope for what they did to this country during the Biden years?
I mean,
this is like total breakdown of sovereignty, dude. Sorry, Mandrill.
don't forget the investigations that they did into the first Trump admin. Like that was like 2 years, 3 years of governance that could have happened that just didn't because of bullshit, right? The whole Russiagate investigation, all of it was basically bullshit. But speaking of which, I mean, now we're starting to see, oh, great, now they're going after Comey finally, only, 6, 7, 8 years after the fact. It's just ridiculous. It's like this stuff is happening far, far, far too late.
It's like the Republicans are just conditioned, like Pavlovian dogs at this point, to settle for, the only thing that really means that we can take a win is when we get to laugh at the Democrats. Just by being able to laugh at Joe Biden and have the whole public finally side with the right wing on one cultural issue because there's just nothing you can do to defend this. Oh, that's just enough. Just getting to make jokes at Democrats, that's the only thing the Republicans really want at the end of the day, right?
Well, remember, it's easier to get a faux moral...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. It's easier to get a faux moral victory that fades very quickly than it is to exercise real, legitimate, and lasting power. And a lot of these congressmen and senators have been conditioned almost from birth to view the job of a Republican politician as intentionally not exercising power, except for a few special interest groups here and there. And I think this is one of those symptoms you're seeing now, where you have a few good people who recognize what time it is, but they are just outnumbered 10-1 by a host of bad actors, moral cowards.
Yeah, it's certainly that. I mean, the Democrats and the news media are going to call us mean names. It's like, dude, they're literally shooting people in the streets. I don't give a shit what name they call you. I really don't care. How do you not understand this at this point? I mean, we're going to get to one of these other stories in a bit here to really emphasize this a little bit more. But man, oh man, it's just astonishing to me how basically nobody understands what time it is. Nobody. It's like, it's over, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe you thought that the violence was going to tone down after the election and everything was going to be okay and everyone was just going to get back in their corners and democracy, rah, 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 and everybody was going to be all hunky-dory or whatever. It's like, dude, that's literally over. I don't care that your administration doesn't want to be marked as the one where, I'm sorry, but this Cold War went hot, basically. It's like, oh, no, we actually need to start throwing people in jail and actually using state power. It's like, dude, Wade Stotts made this amazing point today. He went and found one of these articles right after January 6th, okay? Literally 6 or 8 days or whatever the fuck it was, they already had close to 150 people in jail. The FBI did. The FBI can concoct all sorts of stupid bullshit terror attacks. Do you guys remember that bullshit story about the Michigan governor that were all FBI people except for two guys? We all know the FBI has the power to do this, but they don't. So it's either astonishingly horrible incompetence led by Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, and they need to be fired immediately, or you just don't have control and you don't have sovereignty over your own country. You don't have the rule of law. You don't actually have the right to rule. So which is it? Are you horribly incompetent, or do the institutions that you claim to have power over, you just don't? Either way, this looks really, really bad for the whole Trump team right now. And this ICE shooting from yesterday, oh man, it's like, what do you think this is just going to go away? Put Gavin Newsom in jail, dude. He was literally on podcast this weekend talking about how great it is for the new bill that California just passed, outlawing ICE agents from wearing masks to conceal their identities.
I think that applies to all law enforcement in California, so that's mainly going to fuck over the state and local law enforcement agencies there.
It's a throw that guy in jail, man.
It's still the point. It's still the entire point is to prevent law enforcement from being able to enforce the law without threat or fear of being attacked in, vengeance, basically, or whatever you want to call it. That's the entire point.
100%. I wasn't trying to defend or actually, but it as far as I understand that law in California, it applies to all uniformed law enforcement officers within the state of California.
Yeah, I mean, but think of the secondary effects of this too. It means that, California does not want local authorities having collaboration with ICE agents in deportations of Democratic power base members, I think you could say. And so like the interaction between those two is going to be a lot different once you know the local ICE or the local PD can't wear masks or do anything when they're on deportation raids along with ICE. So it becomes a manpower issue for the administration.
Sorry, I was just laying down some law in the chat. I mean, I'm already seeing some people do it, and don't do it, guys. I'm telling you right now, this is a policy from the OGC, from the Twitter account, all of our live streams, our Substack, everything. Anybody engaging any conspiratard nonsense about this is getting banned forever. There has to be a hard line on this shit. You guys are just actively doing work for the enemy at this point. No, you aren't going to magically change things by concocting some bullshit theory in your brain that somehow Israel was the people behind shooting Charlie Kirk. Like, literally just fuck off. Fuck off with your stupid deflecting bullet nonsense. Fuck off with your bulletproof vests. Fuck off with your multiple shooters. Just get out of here, man. I don't want you. I don't want you on my team. I don't want you in my audience. I don't want you listening to our shit. I don't want you giving us money. If you don't understand what time it is at this point and what we're doing about, if you think that all this stuff is just a video game, just entertainment for you, that I'm supposed to be up here being your dancing fucking monkey, addressing your pet conspiracy nonsense in my super chats, fuck you, man. I don't want you on my team. Leave now. You will be banned. So maddening, dude. It's like we work so hard, the shit that we work and we do here for years now, and people just learn nothing. They don't listen. They either think this is just the weekly stream I get to listen to on Thursdays, yada yada yada. It's like, if you're not about it, man, then what the fuck are you doing? Do you think that your conspiracy is going to save you in 4 years when they're literally just openly shooting people like us in the street? It should be a serious wake up to every one of you in the chat of what is going on and what you think of yourself. Charlie Kirk could have been literally any one of us, man. The shooting at the ICE facility could literally be any one of us. There's plenty of our guys in our audience. There's plenty of guys in the club that are going to get jobs with ICE. You think it's a game? You think it's funny? You think I just get to be an autistic spurg and not leave my house and not go with any other groups of people or hang out with an OGC chapter or anything like this? Fuck all of you, man. Unbelievable. All right. Moving on. Boy, I knew this was going to be a fired up stream tonight, but man, oh man, I'm pissed. I am pissed. Moving on to another blatant show of force by the left at this point, this time at Georgetown University. Okay. So we've had a string of Republicans trying to take up the reins of Charlie Kirk by going on campuses and trying to do like this debate me bro stuff. It's like, okay, whatever. I mean, sure, guys, you go and do you. I think we're way past the point of doing these like debate me bro stuffs on college campuses, but whatever. But here we go. Hey, fascist, catch. Open ads from the John Brown Gun Club. The only political group that celebrates when Nazis die. Do you guys remember when people were thrown in jail for putting up "It's okay to be white" signs on college campuses?
We literally had people jailed for memes. For those who remember, this is an open call to violence, right? This is not the same level. Don't make equivalency between those two things. This is an open call to violence. And that's
the Republican Party also activated within like days of the initial like pro-Palestine protests on college campus. I mean, the House Ed and Workforce Committee stopped all of its activity and made going after those like weird fucking pro-Palestine people its one overriding mission for the rest of the 118th Congress. Why is that not happening here? This is an explicit like threat to students at Georgia. What was this, Georgetown? Yeah, this is an explicit threat to Georgetown students. Like, come on, man. Come on.
And it doesn't take a genius to know who they mean by Nazi. They mean everybody who is you. They mean all of you in this audience. That's who this poster means when they say Nazi, right? Nazi means anybody who's pro-white, anyone who, is I mean, Charlie Kirk to them is a Nazi, right? We have differences with Charlie Kirk. I'm sure we had differences, and they still think that he's a Nazi. So like, congratulations, you're going to get called a Nazi because that's definitionally what you are in their mind, in their worldview. So there's no way that's exactly who they mean when they're talking about this.
Again, we pointed to this earlier, and our good friend Oren McIntyre, who has done an excellent job this last week of going hard against the administration, as everyone should be. If Trump admin can put devastating level of pressure on college campuses to end anti-Israel protests, why can't they do the same thing to protect American conservatives?
I mean, for God's sakes, they're advertising with a fucking QR code. Why not have a Fed just fucking like scan that with his phone and show up?
I mean, do you guys remember when Steven Crowder had Not Gay Jared infiltrate an Antifa cell? And that was like back in like 2016 or 2017 or some shit. It's like, again, who is working over at the FBI right now, man? I guess everyone's sitting there with their thumbs up their ass, apparently, and scraping up all the Jeet shit that's everywhere now. Unbelievable, man. It's like they are openly trying to recruit terrorists on college campuses in the United States, man. Strike Georgetown's funding immediately. No federal funding for you. Over. You're done. You're actively trying to platform a terrorist organization in the United States is openly calling for violence and openly calling for more assassinations of right-wingers in this country. Are you in charge of this administration or not? Is Pam Bondi in charge of the Attorney General's office? Is President Trump actually in charge here? Or is everyone just going to sit on their hands and knees because they don't want to be called mean names by people who are literally shooting people? Again, I cannot stress, it has been 6 weeks nonstop of an extreme level of violence in this country. People really aren't taking that into context because this is just, business as normal these days. But it's been very, very bad for 6 weeks, and it's going to continue to get worse. You have to get serious with these people. You have to. Let's turn our attention over to a scene that was playing out in Portland the other night. Or was it Eugene? It was Eugene, Oregon. That's right. So Antifa, as they're known to do in the great state of Oregon, one of the few states in the country I actually haven't been to, largely because of this shit right here. But it's been ground zero for Antifa actions for well over a decade at this point. I mean, Andy Ngo was pointing out this kind of stuff back in like 2015, man. So because these people are just so emboldened and so brazen, they decide to surround a federal building out there and just attempt to occupy it. And so finally, after many, many hours, the feds finally came outside and started arresting people. The first actual concrete evidence we've seen of the Trump administration actually arresting somebody that's not named Tyler Robinson. So let's watch.
I just love how he just got like carried off like a little child.
I mean, the only humor of this is that, they didn't have to walk very far because there's a jail cell in every federal building, right? So they just picked them up and brought them right inside. It was like, like Uber Eats for activists, apparently. All right, we're going to take you right indoors. So at least there's some humor in that. But the fact that it took hours to do this and that they didn't round up literally everybody. No.
Do we know why it took so long? Like, were they waiting for reinforcements? Were they trying to get the quote unquote, the civilian employees out of the building before they did anything so they wouldn't get caught in any potential crossfire? Has the admin said why basically one of their facilities was allowed to just be under siege for several hours, in the heart of enemy territory?
I haven't seen any response to justify as to why they were doing this. I mean, this story got overshadowed by the ICE shooting because this was literally
The next morning was the
yeah,
ICE shooting.
yeah. This wasn't even 12 hours before, the ICE shooting took place. So I haven't seen any, speaking about this one. I mean, number one, it took too long. And as far as I'm concerned, there's still way too many people standing out there that aren't in irons. It's just like, do you literally have to wait for the point for these people to show up outside a federal building for you to go after them? I mean, like, how is it that Anons on our side of things on Twitter are tracking these groups? I mean, would like the Trump administration, or literally anybody, even know what John Brown Gun Club is without Anons? Like,
No, of course not.
Again, like, what the hell are these people doing? Well,
it's just a huge problem. It's been a consistent problem for years, and I regret to say that it has to do with the conceptualization of terrorism. Right? This has been a huge problem because left-wing terrorism typically does not take the same form as the usual expected forms of terrorism that previous administrations and might have defined those things as. Right, there's a huge academic thing about it, and as we know, like the FBI contracts with SPLC and that sort of thing, and so this is a huge bias problem. Basically, institutionally, the federal government does not or has not considered Antifa a terrorist group, right? That is now changed given the executive order. We will see if there is additional measures, or if anything, you're basically going to have to start spinning up task forces and getting funding and equipment and manpower and all of the right places to go after these networks, basically, because that's what they are. They're just a terrorist network. And it's not cells, right? They're not different cells in different locations that don't have overlap. No, they're all part of one organism. That's what it is. And that's pretty much how every major terrorist organization, from Al-Qaeda to Antifa to whatever you want to talk about, operates. Because if you have a organizational form, which is a more centralized hub and wheel organizational form, like that's obviously centralized leadership, and centralized leadership can be taken out in one fell swoop, right? So every single terrorist organization understands that and tends to structure themselves as a network instead. So the precise relationship of how you go after these networks is very difficult, because obviously some areas might have a more hub or some organizations that are related to this, like John Brown Gun Club, might have a more cell-oriented thing. And then Antifa proper is just clearly a network. And then you might have something else that's a hub that's related. But all of these things require money, and they require recruitment apparatuses, and they require all of the usual things. But they are organized. Like, we know they're organized because we saw it 5 years ago during the summer of Floyd. How are these groups, and indeed previous to that, because Antifa's tactics has, they have evolved to a degree. They have, still have black bloc. We saw that even in like the days back when Milo Yiannopoulos was going to Berkeley and that sort of thing, like back in the internet blood sports days, right? So like there's some holdover here of fieldcraft and tactics that hasn't gone away whatsoever. And I don't think the administration really has done anything, or any administration has done anything to understand these groups and to classify them as a threat. So the first step is understanding the threat and that there is one. So, better late than never, but I mean, it's just too little too late at this point.
That issue that you just touched on, I cannot accurately convey how much of a black hole our understanding of how these groups operate is. Like, for example, how do you guys think that groups like Antifa get their like monetary or material assistance, or their institutional like soft backing? If you guys want to take a guess.
They clearly have above ground organizations who they contract with. Like, for example, Rota Hilfa is the most famous above ground example for Antifa, right? Because the legal organization, they're the ones who give, public defense or public defending things for Antifa dudes who get in trouble with the law. So like these people who you just saw on screen who got taken into this building, they're probably going to have some sort of defense. If it's not a public defender, it'll be some guy, working for, Red Help or that sort of thing, or Black Box Help, or whatever new label they want to call it. But that's just one example among many. But they've all got, and to be honest, this is where having a understanding of how terrorism actually functions is good, because how and where the overlap could possibly be, mostly because they do talk to and interact with organized crime, don't they? Right. And if you think that there is no overlap between groups like MS-13 or any of these Hispanic gangs and Antifa, you're probably, simply wrong. They do interact when it's in their interest to do so. And there are resources that you can go look at, like the Counterterrorism Center of West Point. They have excellent resources, which I believe might still be publicly available. So you should all go read that. And there are policy documents from 10 or 15 years ago, which basically give you a matrix of how, when interest groups actually align. And you can just easily imagine that, there's a quid pro quo and money exchanges hands, and that's how you get funding for these things. But yeah.
Yep. That's correct. Now, organizations like Road to Hilfa, or let's say the Tides Foundation, just to throw another one out there, these are what are called donor advised funds. And now what these organizations are they are for billionaires like I don't know, Reid Hoffman, for example. If Reid Hoffman wants to fund left-wing causes, right? Or if he doesn't really give a shit where his money goes, he writes a check to these donor-advised funds. These donor-advised funds then further distribute that money to leadership programs, you name it. In those programs, or in those fellowships or whatever, you will have in the student body or the audience, you will have members of Antifa or John Brown Gun Club, or presidents of Antifa or John Brown Gun Club. And what these programs are doing is they're basically how would a left-wing violent revolution or overthrow of the United States government look in the year 2028? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, tee, tee. So a really important job of federal investigators needs to be how do these groups get the money and trace these dollars from start to finish and roll up everyone that comes into their crosshairs in the process of doing that, because they're all fucking dirty.
Right. I mean, and the hard part of that is the transfer, right? Because you're not just going to have it go straight from a wire transfer, from point A to point B, or even from one organization to then a shell organization, and then go to, the actual Antifa organization. No, there's probably going to be 2 or 3 stops along the way, you'd imagine. And at some point, I would also imagine that, you don't keep these things in a bank account properly. These things are going to be transferred into hard assets or cash, so that they can be readily used and not easily traced. So finding where the money goes from is going to be the hard part.
Yeah, well, you're right, because Antifa, it's not like they have a PO box. It's not like they have an IRS form that the feds can pull. You're absolutely right. The salient question, in my opinion, has to be how do these people get the money and the material assistance? Where does it come from?
Well, never underestimate the power of theft, right? Left-wing terrorists, even since the 60s, have never been shy about using criminality, just open criminality, to gain resources. All of the Days of Rage types were doing, bank heists and that sort of thing in order to bankroll the revolution, or what they perceived as to be a revolution. I doubt that that's precisely the case today, because otherwise you'd see in the news that there would be spates of bank robberies or that sort of thing. No, I think there are other operations that are going on for this. And I think that, given what we've seen with corporate America, I think there's a bit of an extortion racket going on, right? I think this is an old
that too. I mean, we just got examples of it this week with Jimmy Kimmel, the ABC studios literally getting shot up and putting it back on air.
I mean, it's not hard to understand, right? When every single corporation in the summer of Floyd was putting up, rainbow shit and black squares on their social media profile, and every single corporation was giving money to Black Lives Matter. Like, where do you think all of that money went to? It doesn't just go to the nonprofit foundation and then end up in getting, Shaniqua a mansion or that sort of thing. No, there are trickles of funding, even however small, that end up in groups like Antifa. And, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. This is the thing about any sort of like color revolution organizing, that sort of thing. It doesn't really take a whole lot. It just takes a consistent social media messaging presence. It takes a lot of agitation. Once you've built up a coalition, it becomes very easy, and the money just gets you the small amount of resources to go to Home Depot and buy a pallet of bricks or whatever to smash windows.
Pretty much.
But
I mean,
it doesn't take
BLM raised, what was it, almost like $750 million during the summer of Floyd, and even 1/100th of that reaches Antifa. That's still a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm. Even if a couple $100,000 would go an extremely long way, like nationwide Antifa, right? Like, you'd be able to just simply buy all of this equipment that you see on all of these people, right? You'd be able to buy the cardboard for the signs. You'd be able to buy, everybody's black T-shirt or whatever with a logo on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on with these. And the other thing too is I really hate how there's a response that you get from a lot of these, like chest pumping boomer conservatives who make comments about how Antifa are kind of like pathetic weaklings, because like whenever you see a fight with these guys, the like Proud Boys always like beat the shit out of them, and like five Proud Boys could take on like 500 Antifa people in a fist fight and stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, that's cute, that's great and all, and yeah, that is kind of funny to watch that kind of stuff, but again, it just goes back to that old Sam Colt quote. It's like they say God made a man equal. Sam Colt actually made it so. It's like, these people are armed. They're organized in places like John Brown Gun Club, man. One of them just shot Charlie Kirk. Another one just shot up an ICE facility. Like, I don't really care what the, dysgenic physical specimens these people are. They're dangerous. They're organized. They're rabid. And they're openly calling for violence. And happened for a decade now, if not even longer, if we want to date back to previous left-wing organizations. These people got to be dealt with, man. And just signing executive orders that really actually don't do anything unless you actually go about and enforce these laws. All these people need to be thrown in jail, man. Everyone who's standing outside this facility needs to be thrown in jail. I don't care if they're guilty or not. Find a crime they're guilty of, dude. Seriously. This is just what you have to do. The stupid fucking Krasenstein people and all the other journalists that are online openly declaring their allegiance to Antifa, saying, "Oh, Antifa's not an idea. It's just or it's not an organization. It's just an idea. I'm just anti-fascist an idea." It's like, great, you can be an anti-fascist idea in jail. We're not playing these games with these people anymore.
I mean, you mean to tell me that none of these people standing outside this building don't have prior convictions, whether it's for drug usage or driving offenses or whatever various lefty shit that you would expect from just being a terrible person? I mean, you think that none of these people have anything on them, really?
Well, isn't it also a lot of times when these like types are arrested, don't anons like usually go into like police databases and be like, "Oh yeah, they've been like picked up by the cops like 6 times in the past like 2 years or some shit like that"?
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah.
Like that's my point, is they've always got prior offenses, most of these people. And that's why they've been chosen and selected to be the leftist vanguard. That is exactly what they are. They are the militant radical vanguard, meant to do damage. That is their point. And the point that you see here is that they are assaulting a place of federal power, right? This is exactly the left-wing argument that we heard in 2021 in the aftermath of Jan 6, right? This is a federal building. This is a place where the federal government is supposed to have sovereignty or be able to exercise sovereignty, and you are beginning or resuming, I should say, attacks on these buildings because they have ostensibly right-wing uses or, pro-MAGA uses. That's why this is happening. They're bold enough to be willing to attack hard points. They're not attacking soft targets.
The left is not afraid, man. They're not. They're not afraid at all, and they're emboldened. And quite frankly, they think that violence works. And to be honest, the Trump administration is proving them correct. Every day they don't do anything. The fact that they think that they could just walk outside. I mean, with all the talk about like a fascist dictatorship rising in the United States, the fact that these people are still bold enough to actually show their faces outside a federal building really doesn't show that they're really scared, don't you think? In fact, I think it sends the opposite message that these people are quite okay with continuing to do what they're going to do. Call for more violence, destroy people's abilities to walk around safely in their cities, talk to people on college campuses, support a political candidate that they believe has their best interests at heart. It's literally, the title of the stream tonight, guys, open season on right-wingers. It's literally what the Trump administration is telegraphing this week with shit like this.
We cannot afford to telegraph to our voters that we aren't interested in protecting them.
This is the most basic understanding of all politics whatsoever. The most basic understanding of what a client and patronage network means. Can you protect me? I'm giving you the monopoly on violence, the power of the state to protect me. And the Trump administration is making a lot of noise. They're making a lot of great speeches. Stephen Miller's on Fox News complaining about, the judicial coup every single night. Where are the arrests? When are we going to actually take the fight to these people? How many corpses do need to pile up on Pam Bondi's desk for her to do something? Seriously, how many? You'd think that Charlie Kirk, a personal friend of the Trump administration, would be enough.
You want an honest answer to that question? I think it's got to be at least 10. It's got to be at least 10. Like that's my very deeply cynical answer. It's got to be at least 10. 10 or 12.
Well, another thing to put things into perspective this week about assassinations and terrorism and such is people remember Ryan Ruth, right? You guys remember the radical left-winger that went to go fight in Ukraine, who was the would-be assassin the second time Trump was to get killed at the golf course last year? Well, he was actually found guilty this week on all counts. The sentencing hasn't occurred yet. And when that verdict was read out that he was guilty on all charges, the man tried to stab himself in the throat with a pen and had to be restrained by his own attorneys and then what do they call them? The court officers? There's like a special name for people in the court. Whatever. The bailiff. The bailiff. Thank you.
Yes, the bailiff.
Yes. Had to restrain him afterwards and put him in irons to prevent him from killing himself.
Yeah, doesn't this guy have like
Such
Ukrainian intelligence, like weird Ukrainian intelligence ties?
Supposedly, I think so. Yeah, like through his father or something or his family. Like they're all pro-Ukraine, obviously, right? Every single one of these people, if you press them, they're always pro-Ukrainian and anti-Russian.
Yeah, it almost looks like a Ben Garrison cartoon, like the Ryan Ruth's face, like the way it's drawn, Or,
he almost looks like John Kerry.
I was just about to say that, Mandrill. I was just about to say that's who he looks like. Yeah.
We're finally going to learn the truth of Skull and Bones. John Kerry's like, not today.
Unbelievable. So, the reason why I really want to bring this up, right, the Ryan Ruth stuff, is because people just kind of seem to forget last year that President Trump had 2 attempts on his life made against him. We had an assassination with Charlie Kirk. We've had this great string of left-wing violence over the last 6 weeks in particular. But actually, the next story I want to talk about is related to this Ryan Ruth thing. And I've noticed a lot of people are not taking this remotely as seriously as it should be. President Trump was just victim to a 3rd assassination attempt this week. That's literally what this was. And what I'm talking about is what occurred at the UN here. Let's play this clip real quick.
Why the fuck is the Secret Service not immediately like swarming him?
That's again, there are so many things to talk about with this one. Okay, the point you just made, John, at the start is obviously the most obvious one that should come to everyone's minds. The Secret Service people literally are having their dicks in their hands right now, doing literally nothing. The escalator was just frozen. President Trump is pinned between his wife and the people behind him with nowhere to go, and it's just a sitting duck right now. What the fuck is going on? In addition to this, okay, I mean, a lot of people don't really want to talk about this too much, but, you know, the president is an elderly man. You know, falling face first into an escalator isn't necessarily going to be good for the man's health and could cause a lot of problems. And this nonsense argument about, oh, well, this is just a malfunction in the system. Bull fucking shit, dude. Bullshit. The second President Trump steps on an escalator, oh, it's just going to magically turn off, even though that there was some talk in, I forget which post it was. People could fact check me in the comments. It was like either a New York Post or something that literally came out a couple days in advance of this, suggesting that people working at the UN are going to screw up with President Trump's teleprompter in anticipation of his arrival and speech at the UN, which eventually did happen. But again, like, this is clearly sabotage. And people are just like, oh, this is just like petty jokes that Democrats are playing on President Trump, dude. It's like, no, man, this is a signal. This is an open signal that, oh, we can put you in a very compromised position, and it's not unfeasible at all to assume that something way worse could have come from this. This isn't just some like schoolyard prank. Oh, we're going to turn off the escalator when you're on it, dude. This is extremely dangerous stuff.
Yeah, honestly, like the feds should just like eminent domain the UN building, pay them fair market value, kick all them out, declare all these fucking diplomats persona non grata, and then just like be like, yeah, do something somewhere else. Don't do it here. Bullshit organization full of bullshit people.
I mean, not to mention how much money that the United States gives them. I mean, we just should have full jurisdiction over the situation, but it's crazy, man. There have been 2 attempts on Trump's life, now a third one. Do you think they're going to stop? You know, do you think these people were just going to go quietly? It's like, how many reminders do you need, man? It's definitely been the theme of the show tonight, to say the absolute least. Man, oh man.
I mean, it just goes to show you the level of incompetence of this administration beneath Trump, whether that's his fault or not. It's beside the point. Like, when we're saying, you know, hey, this is actually turning into possibly a kinetic conflict, or this might be the early stages of a kinetic conflict, whether we like that or not, whether we prefer that or not is beside the question, is beside the point. It's not really part of the question. We didn't choose that. They did. And so that's number one. And number two is, like, they're not ready for it. They're clearly administratively, bureaucratically, personnel-wise, like financial-wise, they're not ready for that at all. No, they're not ready on any level. Like, they got to get ready now. Like, they need to start doing this immediately.
I mean,
this has to be.
Why isn't like Eric Prince called like literally today just to replace all Secret Service people? I mean, we literally saw some of them were dancing on Charlie Kirk's grave just 2 weeks ago. Literal Secret Service members. This is just unacceptable, man. It's like, do we have to fire literally every single person in the law enforcement agencies in the entire country and just restaff them with right-wing Twitter at this point? I mean,
Well, yes.
Like, do you actually have monopoly on violence? Are you actually in charge? It's just complete amateur hour here, man. Secret Service people out to lunch, a building that the United States pays for and is the leading partner in the United Nations in New York City. It's just doing like high school level pranks by shutting off President Trump's teleprompter and facilitating potential assassinations with escalator malfunctions. I don't even want to call it malfunctions, tamperment. The phrase that comes out of the Trump administration for the last 7 days is weak. It looks weak. It can't defend itself. It can't defend its hardest supporters. Why should any of us be involved, man? If this is how we're going to behave here, where we're just allowed to have open season on right-wingers, where the people are praying in school, they're going to college campus conservative events, making speeches at the UN, doing the job of deporting people that were let into this country by Biden and many other presidents beforehand, doing all the right things, and we just can't be protected by this administration because they don't want to look bad. It's like, dude, we're way past that point, man. It's over. This thinking that you thought that, like, oh, we could just play the game like the correct way and, you know, everyone's going to get all hunky-dory and everything's going to be fine. Get with the fucking program, guys. We've been on this train since day one, talking about the left's not going to go away, man. Look to people like Charles Haywood. They were saying this from the very beginning. The left-wing violence is going to come. It's going to return. All of us were talking about this. We were ignored. Charlie Kirk got assassinated. People are getting stabbed on public transportation, shot up in schools, shot up at ICE facilities. Roaming bands of leftist degenerate freaks are holding federal buildings hostage.
I've noticed this like phenomena where it's almost like everybody who is over the age of like 40, right? Or like if it's been 15 years since you've been on a college campus, it's very hard to explain to those kinds of people the like reality of the facts on the ground. And like I kind of understand why, because things have gotten so crazy that if you're like lost in normalcy bias, it can be hard for you to like even be able to conceptualize like, oh, the main threat to like my political party are people who fuck other guys in the ass and wear like animal costumes and castrate themselves. Like that sounds fucking crazy, right? But that's kind of the true like facts on the ground. And so one of my like big fears is that a lot of the guys under Trump are still kind of not really, you know, their prefrontal cortex is not going threat. They still think, oh, if we just like post some funny stuff on Twitter, or if like we just sign a couple of executive orders, or if we fire like one or two high-ranking pieces of shit, then like everything else will be fine and the like rewards and adulation will just flow. And it's like, dude, we didn't elect you for that. We elected you to, you know, squash a burgeoning left-wing commie color revolution before we all feel like it's wrath.
Oh, speaking of that, like they're already we've seen video footage now. This has been passed around on Twitter of various left-wing organizations, and they've been talking about, you know, spending hour-long meetings deciding what color they're actually going to use for 2028. It looks like they're going to use some more organic colors, that like purple or maybe black and yellow or something. But the point is like they're actually doing the prep work now so that they are ready for 2028, right? That is the point, is that they're beginning for an open showdown in 3 years, right? You have 3 years to get ready for this, basically, because there's going to be some kind of confrontation in 2028, I think. There will be. They're gearing up for it.
Well, we're not done with the highlights of the UN. We do have a clip of Trump's actual speech that he gave at the UN, basically bitching out Europe and many other places for mass immigration. Let's listen in.
Is the UN not solving the problems it should? Too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out. The UN also provided food, shelter, transportation, and debit cards to illegal aliens. Can you believe that? On the way to infiltrate our southern border. Millions of people came through that southern border. Just a year ago, millions and millions of people were pouring in, 25 million altogether over the 4 years of the incompetent Biden administration. And now we have it stopped, totally stopped. In fact, they're not even coming anymore because they know they can't get through. But what took place is totally unacceptable. The UN is supposed to stop invasions, not create them and not finance them. In the United States, we reject the idea that mass numbers of people from foreign lands can be permitted to travel halfway around the world, trample our borders, violate our sovereignty, cause unmitigated crime, and deplete our social safety net.
Well, so no lies really detected. I mean,
he still says all the right stuff.
Yeah. I mean, again, what are you gonna do about it? We can only talk and have grandiose speeches for so long, man. The bodies are literally piling up outside as Trump is giving this speech, however great it may be.
Did you guys see this afternoon? The president signed a national security presidential memorandum that establishes a, quote, comprehensive strategy to investigate, disrupt, and dismantle all stages of organized political violence and domestic terrorism, end quote. That was like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I did see that, and one of our gentlemen in our group chat pointed out to us that the word anti-Semitism is not mentioned in that document. So you know what?
Well, that's good.
I know, amazing. Isn't it just amazing how we literally have to be like fighting for scraps at the end of the table just to not have Jews mentioned in any of our official documents? Just amazing, isn't it?
It's called incremental victories.
Mm.
Maybe in 3 years they'll be, condemning anti-white hatred and anti-white violence by name.
Who knows, man? I mean, so
that's what the timeline's like. That's we know exactly how long it takes for these things to percolate up there, and it takes about 2 years, doesn't it?
A week ago I would have accepted, we're going to pass this executive order to go after the NGOs and go after the domestic terrorist groups and everything like that. That was the bare minimum that should have been done days after Charlie Kirk's death. They started doing that stuff a week ago. I guess they're doing a little bit more today. I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied until I see hundreds of people in chains. Period. Again, we are pointing this out. The FBI has the capacity to do this. They've done it against right-wingers for over a decade at this point. They did it to the January 6th people. They rounded them up within 5 minutes. You're either incompetent or you guys are corrupt. It's nothing else. There's no in-betweens here. There's no, they just got to take a little bit extra time to, make sure they have all the cases lockstep. Great. They can have them lockstep while they're sitting in jail. I will not tolerate inaction anymore. And I know a lot of people in the base who feel the exact same way. It doesn't really seem to get through the heads of our Republicans in Congress. And Mr. Cooke, I'll probably have you take it from here at this point as to what the actual feelings are. But, apparently people just don't have it in their brains that people in their base literally see themselves as Charlie Kirk. Again, the theme of the show tonight in the title, open season on right-wingers. If the opposition is literally killing your base, what the fuck are you going to do about it?
Post on Twitter and mint coins, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, Mr. Cooke, you had do you have anything more you want to say from us from the feel from in DC these days?
Yeah, actually. So, for those in the chat and watching who don't know, I am a congressional staffer, and so I get a frontline look at a lot of the really good people up here helping us fight the fight, and the far more numerous stupid people up here who the jury is still out if they are malicious or incompetent. It's probably a little bit of both. I can tell you that the feeling that I've gotten seeing how Congress has reacted so far is there's two things here. On the rhetorical side, you have the types like Ted Cruz and Langford in the Senate, and there have been a couple of bad people in the House who've said this too, who basically try to make this a both sides issue. They did the same thing after the Steve Scalise shooting, by the way. It was a both sides need to come together and work together and tone down the rhetoric. And as Republicans, we should try to make nice with people who want to blow our brains out all over the House floor. There's been a lot of that. There's also been much more than I initially expected, but nonetheless was pleased to see. There have been some people, like I will give a shout out to Bob Onder, specifically of Missouri, who have really upped the tenor of their rhetoric, basically calling the left evil and calling all leftists evil on the House floor, which that is not a substantive victory, but that is a rhetorical victory nonetheless. And that is, in my opinion, like the bare minimum we should expect of our elected representatives. On the substantive side, that's where I've been the most disappointed. We've already covered the messaging bill that was introduced earlier by Representative Abe Hamadeh of Arizona and August Pfluger of Texas. That would mint these silver coins with Charlie's face on them. I, for the life of me, have no idea why they or their staff thought that would be a good idea or well received by the base at this time. But that goes to show you how tone deaf and stupid a lot of people up here are. Aside from that, the main role that Congress needs to play in this fight is to support the executive branch in identifying these networks and giving the executive branch easy targets to bring their fist down on. That is done mainly through the congressional committees. There are several congressional committees who have the jurisdiction and legal authority to follow these money streams and figure out how is Reid Hoffman, for example, how is his money ending up buying pallets of bricks to be thrown through a Target window in 2020? How is his money being used to fund, these excursions where John Brown Gun Club goes out and practices small unit tactics in the Nevada desert, for example? Unfortunately, the process to get those answers is very lengthy and is susceptible to the incredible pressure of everyday politics. If I may, I would like to kind of explain what that process looks like so that if you guys do ever want to write to your representatives, you can have a detailed ask for them, if that's okay with everybody here.
Fire away.
Okay, so the main weapon of a congressional committee here is going to be the subpoena. When a congressional committee gives you, RedHawk, a subpoena, you can fight it in court, but if you lose, your ass is going to prison if you don't show up with what they want on the date of that hearing. It's just simple as. They put Steve Bannon in prison during the Biden administration because he took their subpoena and told them to go fuck themselves, basically. So how is a subpoena created? This is where we get to this is how we make the sausage. It starts really with the staff level, and this is where social media plays such a huge role. Is Anons on Twitter are really, really good at giving us right-wing congressional staffers ideas, getting the news in front of our faces, separating the wheat from the chaff, and also kind of giving us first draft rhetorical tools for our messaging, for our internal documents, that kind of thing. So, say I, as a committee staffer, want to subpoena a organization, that I think probably has its hands somewhere in this like left wing billionaire to terrorist pipeline. My first step, and this is necessary for legal reasons, is you have to engage with these organizations with the appearance of good faith. Almost every single time when they're doing something wrong, they're going to either try to delay or stall. When that happens, you escalate, and this is where the send a letter. You see congressmen bragging about how they sent a letter here, they sent a letter here. This is really what they're talking about. It is like the next step of that escalation ladder, where you send in writing a concrete list of either asks or demands, and you can say, what is your rationale for sending money to this group or that group? How can you track this money? Where did you get this money from? Did you know that this money is reasonably believed to be going to fund this or that illegal activity? XYZ. This is where lawyers get involved, because the step after this is when you actually hold a committee hearing. These are the things that are televised on Fox News if they're worthy enough, or on C-SPAN if they're not. If you're watching C-SPAN in your free time, please seek professional help. So basically, this is what I want to see from Congress: is I want to see the committees of jurisdiction drag. I don't care who the fuck it is at this point. I want to see asses in seats in a hearing, because when you are testifying to Congress, when you've been subpoenaed by a committee and you show up with your lawyers behind you, you are under oath. It is just like a courtroom. If you lie to Congress, you will go to prison. They put quite a few people in Trump's first admin in prison for that, if I'm not mistaken, because they were lied to Congress and were referred to the Department of Justice for prosecution. So you would think getting a subpoena would be easy, right? You're wrong. You see, who introduces a subpoena into a courtroom? It's actually not the committee. It's the Speaker of the House himself. So the big problem is that you have got, as a congressional committee, to convince the Speaker of the House that it is worth the House's time, energy, and resources to pull Reid Hoffman or Bill Gates in front of a congressional committee, because there's a damn good chance their money helped pay for one of the bullets that went through Charlie's neck. This is where personnel becomes a huge problem. Our people in the 2 years since I've joined OGC, become aware of you guys, and later joined, I have seen amazing progress at getting our guys of like mind in the entry and lower mid-level positions. But at that critical, those critical upper two tiers, before you even get to the elected member of Congress or whatnot, those critical two senior tiers, the senior staff, that's where a lot of this stuff is getting frustrated, in my opinion, because that's where a lot of the last holdouts of the business as usual, I'm too old to know what time it is, I'm just a neocon and all I give a shit about is Israel, that's where that last power base on the hill is. And so, to kind of finish off this rant before I go off down too many rabbit holes, congressional action is necessary, but it takes time, and the good guys have to fight a lot of uphill battles to get their end, to get the victory condition. And the victory condition is getting hearings where we can try to establish a pipeline from the billionaires to those pallets of bricks. Did any of what I said make sense?
Absolutely. I just have
yes.
one question. For these senior staffer roles, how old would you say the average of that type is?
Anywhere from mid-30s to mid-50s retirement age.
Interesting. Okay.
A lot of it too, in the speaker's office specifically, especially when he first staffed up after he was elected in the 118th Congress. There are a lot of chick lawyers who were Bush era people, neocon types. They caused a lot of problems behind the scenes, and quite a few of them went to work for oh God, what's the big lefty law firm who helped launder the Russia hoax? I forget the name of it. Someone in the chat can probably
Burisma?
tell me which one
I
it
was
was.
about to
No, it
say
wasn't
that.
Burisma. Burisma is Ukraine. God damn it! It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm forgetting it now.
Yeah, there's just no worries. There's too much to remember.
Yeah.
Too many details.
Oh, Perkins Coie. Perkins Coie. That's what it was. Perkins Coie. I knew I had it at the tip of my tongue.
Kind of amazing how things just fly back into your brain, don't they?
Yes. Yes. Additionally, though, I will one corollary. If I could kind of touch on the incentive part, because the incentives also play their own role outside of the process going on here. Basically, the incentives of the House GOP are kind of fucked. You have a lot of members who don't support the president, but know it's political suicide to express that publicly. So stuff like Big Beautiful Bill, the reconciliation thing, for example, you had quite a few House Republicans who were hoping that son of a bitch failed, even as they voted yes on it. You have the old guard types who desperately want to return to business as usual because governing is hard, wielding power is scary, and frankly, they kind of know they're not intellectually equipped to do it. And you also have a section of like media whores, like Nancy Mace, for example. She is a
The star
media
of
whore.
many
Yeah.
the star of many OGC thumbnails.
Yes. But and media whores can ruin these kinds of investigations. That process I briefly touched on, there's a lot of stuff that has to happen in a courtroom for that to be successful. And if you have someone run their mouth on Fox News, that shit's going to be used against the House of Representatives legal team in court. And there's a damn good chance a sympathetic judge would throw out a good subpoena, and like there goes all that hard work. There goes all that effort. There goes a good shot at getting a wink link in this chain to come squeal in front of us, right? So I'm not trying to make excuses for inaction. I want to be clear. I am chafing as much as you guys are, but I think it is helpful for you guys to kind of understand the process on the congressional side and kind of understand the terrain in which a lot of us are trying to fight these battles. That being said, the admin should be moving faster. They have none of these freaking like hurdles, frankly. Oh dear, they're both asleep.
No. I was looking at the chat and the audience, and many people are finding this very interesting as well. So we thank you for this expose. And it's just, if people aren't getting to work at this point, like, what are you doing, man? We had long rants tonight about people just see this show. It's just nothing but entertainment at this point. I mean, I'm honestly still amazed that there are Americans in the audience that watch the show every week that haven't bothered to get involved in an OGC chapter. It's like, what are you guys doing? I mean, I just don't get it, man. Like,
guys, get involved locally.
Now,
Get involved in your local OGC chapter. Start one if there's not one, in your area. If there's not one that's a convenient distance from you. Get involved in your local GOP party organizations, in the auxiliary party organizations. Hide your power level, because boomers will sniff you out if they can, and they will keep you away from advancing or from helping out, really. But they are on a ticking clock. They are not long for this world, and when they go, there needs to be a cadre of competent, motivated young guys who understand what time it is, so that we can take over the reins and shepherd the party into a political organism that actually like functions for its constituents. Because right now it's one that's very much at war with itself, and it is definitely an olds versus youngs. That's more or less the dividing line of the internal party conflicts.
As we thought and said many times.
Yep. People check out the OGC website, look at the chapters page, see if there's a chapter nearby. If not, send us an email. We'll get in touch with people in the area to get one spun up for you. Time is now, man. Can't stress it enough. we did have one more story to talk about with you know what? Why not? Well, we'll bring it up. Why not? So, as people know, next year is the 250th anniversary of the United States. Pretty awesome. Big birthday celebration. Trump has talked about all the grand things he's going to do, with these, for lack of a better word, World's Fairs. They're going to be occurring all throughout the country. Well, in the wake of all this, apparently, we still have, left wingers that are in charge of, the commissions that are going to be responsible for this. This great big celebration we're going to have over the country next year. So, in the wake of the Charlie Kirk death and assassination, we actually had, I want to make sure I get this woman's name right, Rosie Rios. Yeah, very American name there. Who's in charge of this organization, a Biden appointee, mind you, decided to fire a 25-year-old guy for posting about Charlie Kirk. And not in a left-wing negative way, but just in a way that said, and I quote, "God bless Charlie Kirk." And for that, the guy was fired from the commission for it. Handpicked by Donald Trump, gets fired. Why is this woman in charge of this outfit for next year? Just, again, unseriousness, man. An opportunity to show the greatness of the United States, how we're proud of our history. We're turning over a new leaf. We're not putting up with this woke bullshit anymore that we have to hate our country and hate our history and hate ourselves for forever. We're going to have a great big celebration. We're going to have parades. We're going to have acknowledgement of our history. But no, somehow we got Biden appointees who don't even have American names are in charge of these and are firing people.
Yeah, I don't. As far as I understand, too, the president has like the authority to fire everybody on this commission. So, when I saw this, I'm shocked that nothing's been done yet because it's
been the line of the week, hasn't it been? Yeah, shocked nothing's been done.
And it's like your handpicked guy. Like there's no way he what was this fellow's name? Yeah, this Ariel Abergel guy. There's no way he didn't like communicate to the president or to, Susie Wiles like, hey, they just like fired me, just so you know. I don't know.
Yeah. So just another long string of events, for this week. I don't even want to talk about the James Comey stuff because do I even really care? It's like, what's actually going to be done about this? I'll believe it when I see it.
On list of people we should go after legally, James Comey is probably in the triple digits on the list.
Which really is saying something because the man obviously committed high treason and should be punished accordingly. But I mean, it just shows you how many people need to be arrested. It's crazy.
I mean, the whole Comey thing is just red meat for Fox News boomers. That's all it is. The guy is essentially retired. He's done his damage, right? He's done with politics, basically. I mean, you need to be going after the up and coming people on the left. That's what you need to be doing.
I mean, forget about previous leaders of intelligence agencies and law enforcement ones. We can't even get the ones right now to work.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, frankly, that's just a total GOP issue. I mean, I speak for most of our audience. I think when I say that we would have all have preferred Matt Gaetz to be,
absolutely
Attorney General, but of course, Matt Gaetz got taken into the back room with, the four grand days of the Senate, and got the finger wag from Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins, telling him how much of a bad naughty boy he's been, and so now we have to put a woman in charge of the Department of Justice. So there you go.
It's just yeah. You give the long house an inch and it'll take a mile, man. Yeah, just every single time. It's just
Lisa Murkowski, who single-handedly restructured Alaska's election infrastructure so she could win because she made it so overly complicated. Her voters who hate her can't figure it out.
That woman is just one of the worst.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I mean, if you ever look up her background too, sorry to derail with a Murkowski bashing, because this is what I do in my spare time, is look up wiki articles on people and old politicians, and like she's literally just the most nepotistic like girl boss insert that you could possibly imagine.
She's like the daughter of a previous politician, right?
She is her dad held that Senate seat before she did.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's not even the worst. Debbie Dingell is a representative from like New Jersey, I think, and that congressional seat has been in her direct family for over 100 years. Her husband, who is now dead, held that seat for damn near like 40 years, and then before him, his father did before like the turn of the fucking century.
Jeez.
There's just so much work that needs to be done, man.
I mean, it's just the entire class of elite politics needs to be, reeved out one by one. Like that's the only thing that has to be done. Like you just, and I do have hope on this question, because I do tend to think of this as a generational fight. And some people think that that's cope. I don't. I'm a huge believer in the fourth turning. And, once the boomers and, their seniors begin ever so slowly to pass on off this mortal coil, or become so decrepit that they can't hold office anymore. Like, I mean, obviously with some of them, they'll keep their clutches, their dirty fingers on power until they literally go to their grave. But a lot of, you're just going to have to be patient and wait and organize in the meantime. And I really do believe that the one hopeful thing that we have to look forward to is that by the 2028 or by the 2030s, that all of these residual boomers will have no choice but to retire, or because they'll just be dead basically. And you'll start to see some change in blood.
I mean, there's on track for what, like something 4 to 5 million boomers are going to die between now and 2028. Now, I mean, it's going to shake things up quite a bit. And not just in Republican politics either.
Oh,
as long as my grandparents aren't one of them, I want them to stay alive forever.
Yeah.
Wow. You still have grandparents living? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All
one of the lucky ones.
No, I have 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4.
Your family must have incredible longevity, or very young reproductive tendencies.
Yeah, I've got none left. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
I've none either. Yeah.
Well, gents, been a very upsetting week, to say the least. But again, everyone who continues to hold people to the fire on this one, just keep doing it, man. I mean, you heard it tonight. The effects. One of the very few things that we do have going for us is that we punch way above our weight on social media. The chimping works, so continue to do it, but do it strategically. As our chimper in chief, our chief Simeon here, was telling us earlier.
I can say it again if you want.
Yeah, go. Do it. There we go.
A, always B, B, C, chimping. Always be chimping. Always be chimping. There we go. I'm channeling Glengarry Glen Ross here. My Alec Baldwin.
It's never enough, guys. I mean, they arrested like 30 people outside of that federal building in Eugene. They need to be arresting 300 people. They are taking James Comey to task. Okay, well, where's Hillary Clinton? Every time, guys, it could never be enough. Oh, the Trump administration has deported 2 million people in 6 months. Why isn't it 20 million? Never enough. We have so much work.
I will say one thing about the chimping is our guys must learn to chimp without being cunty.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to like piss off the people who read your tweets and think, oh, these ungrateful like shitbags. Well, they don't understand what I'm doing. So always, when the enemy does something, show no mercy on Twitter. But when our guys do fuck up, or when they're taking their sweet time, do allow a rhetorical and a substantive axis of forgiveness, right? So if in 2 weeks Trump goes like full dictator and like or rolls up all these organizations in like one night of the long knives swoop. We should congratulate them for it and say that was a good job. Next time, do it faster.
Absolutely. They could sign all the executive orders they want, but they better enforce them.
Shit, print 800,000 Charlie coins.
Why not? Why not 1 million?
Mm.
Why not 6 million? I don't know.
Way too many. All right. Let's read the super chats, fellas, and then we will get out of here tonight. So, scrolling up to the top, we've got Solid Snake, who snuck behind enemy lines with his suppressor in hand and under his cardboard box, as he does every week. Solid Snake 1964 for $10. Evening, gents. I have to take last week's super chat back. Jimmy Kimmel plagues us again. I swear my elderly great aunt has more balls and the will to do things than the admin does, with holding the left to account and then some. At least the Home Range Society is meeting a prospective new member tomorrow. Or new member, sorry. Yeah. Again, get involved with your local OGC chapters. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people in the base are way more fired up than most of these politicians are at this point. And again, it just seems like people are just totally oblivious to this. Like I guess people just, don't really understand what like violence actually looks like or anything, or that, people actually aren't in danger or whatever. It's just, it's just Charlie Kirk. It's just because he was on YouTube videos. That's why he was shot. I'm not on a YouTube video. It's not coming from me. Fucking idiots, man. The bodies are stacking up. It's only going to get worse. Cringe Walker.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
On that vein, real quick, one of the most depressing things that happened to me recently was I overheard Steve Scalise talking about they're going to be making a movie about the congressional baseball shooting, and he was talking to a B-list actor within earshot of me and kind of telling his side of the story. And the moral cowardice of a man who had a fucking steel jacket sent into his chest by one of these crazy lefties because they thought he was going to take away healthcare. He could not even bring himself to denounce left-wing violence even after that. That is 40% of the moral fortitude of most of these members of Congress. That is the moral fortitude of 40% of these members of Congress, excuse me. So.
Yeah. You can never hate Republicans enough, man. You really can't. It's just, at least what the left is going to be. They don't try to pretend to be anything else. But the, deepest corner of hell is for betrayers and mutineers. It's just Republicans every fucking time, man. It's so maddening. Cringe Walker, who has done a hell of a job on Twitter this week, making many Pam Bondi memes and whatnot, and been making some pretty good points. So everyone should be following him and listening to what he has to say. Victims say, please stop. Victors, just stop it. Yeah. Ted Cruz, prime example of this, just in wake of this Dallas ICE facility shooting, again, just talking about how, we got to use our strong words and our language, and the left really needs to stop and just look how bad they are. It's literally like they're a bunch of kids on a playground trying to tattletale to some authority to, go sweep up the left. It's motherfucker, you're literally in charge. You have the House.
He's busy vandalizing street signs, okay? He's busy vandalizing street signs with white paint.
Yeah. It's so unbelievable, man. You have the House, you have the Senate, you have the Supreme Court, you have the presidency. Apparently you guys, have the law enforcement institutions allegedly, right? It's who are you trying to appeal to come and fix the problem, dude? It's mommy, this kid is saying violent things. When are you going to come in and solve the problem? Unbelievable, man. Fix it. You guys are in charge. Buck stops with you guys. There's no excuses. Padre speaks for $5. You get what you pay for with Bangalore tech support FBI. Yeah, pretty much, man. Just Cash Patel and Pam Bondi been horrible, man. They're just so bad. Let's go to Dawn Browning, who, as always, sends us a super sticker. This time it's a anthropomorphic lemon, and it's hugging a child with heart emojis. So thank you, Don Browning, for the 20 Australian dollars. We appreciate it. Maverick Jones sends us $2. It was damned from the start with the admin. What else are we going to do, right? I mean, despite all of this, imagine if Kamabla was in charge.
There was no other choice. I mean, this was the best it could be. You take the best option and you move forward with that sometimes, and that's just the way it goes. We knew.
Yeah, I think that's a dangerous mindset, Maverick. You have to be careful. Don't ever fall into the sin of like complete hopelessness and despair, or like, black pilling. There's always hope, and incremental victories are still victories. We have shifted the Overton window massively in just 18 months. There is a lot more work to be done. We need a lot more of our people doing that kind of work. On that, you and I are probably in agreement. But never, ever, ever feel hopeless. Never feel hopeless. There's always hope.
I mean, just imagine what the next 3 years are going to like if we've seen this big of a shift in 18 months. I mean, the moral victory for what we want policy-wise in terms of like the migrants and all of that shit. Like 10 years ago, this was unthinkable that mainstream GOP politicians would be saying any of this. So you've already got a little bit of your foot in the door. Now we just need to exploit the breakthrough.
Absolutely. Cringe Walker again for $10. With that silver dollar, you could donate to the IDF. Patriotism. Oh man, I just know there's going to be some. This was like my first reaction to this when I saw those stupid fucking coins. I was like, oh great, this is just for Fox News boomers to spend their money on anything else except give money to young right wingers who actually want to fix the problem, right? Anything but giving money to their kids. It's like Trumpy bears. Oh, you're not a true patriot American unless you have your Trumpy bear, now coming with a vintage Charlie Kirk. And if you order now, you can also get your hands on this super awesome Patriot Buffalo silver coin, vintage United States dollar. Use promo code MyPillow. Fucking hate Fox News. I hate Fox News so much.
Yeah, Birch Gold or something.
yeah, really. Ugh.
Oh man.
Tell him Judge Knapp sent you. It's just. All right. We got a B-Die for $25. Tune in next Wednesday for the Chapter House stream. The Tipica News Society will be grilling the host on Hoosier trivia. Oh, interesting. The chat is his only hope for support. Interesting. Well, if people aren't listening to the Chapter House on Wednesday, you should be. People talk about how you want to get involved. Well, that's a good way. Listen to our Chapter House streams. Our chapters are doing new stuff all the time, man. Get involved. Skibum220, one of our frequent super chatters, sends us $50 tonight. Seems to be the winner so far. Thank you very much, sir. What is stopping our government from taking action? His own lack of will, subversion, or our own leaders' mental retardation? Do we know? Salute the OGC. Funny enough, we were talking about this just before we went live, in the backstage, right? It's like, what is it? I mean, it's like the conclusion we all came to was yes. It's literally all the above, man. It's just, there's idiots, there's cowards, there's corruption, there's everything. So much needs to be fixed. But the silver lining that we do have in the white pill, everything that we need, all the tools to fix it is all right here, man. We have it in our own country. It can be done. It's not an impossible task. We have the materials. We do have the resources. Just needs to be applied in the correct ways. Zenrath, one of our guys, for $50 tonight. Thank you very much, sir. Every trinket, naming ceremony, and call for forgiveness has done nothing but stain the name of the last moderate. Get them out of polite society, get them in jail, get them out of the limelight. Any politician not doing this has not a single speck of America in their hearts. You're here, man. Time for action is now. Inaction is over. All right. Moving on to Solid Snake once again for $3. If I'm ever martyred, I'll let you guys put me on a coin with my cardboard box on it. It's what I would want. Don't let anyone tell you different. Yeah, we'll do it after we win. How about that?
If I'm ever stabbed on the DC Metro, please feel free to use my name, image, and likeness and wave my corpse like a bloody shirt. Thank you.
There we go. Same goes for all of us, man. I have never once ever had Canadian healthcare thoughts ever. So
yeah, you have to clarify that on stream, right?
yeah, never. Bolero 393 for $5. If only the GOP cared a tenth as much about the people who vote for them as getting pats on the head from the leftist media and their APAC handlers. Yeah, I mean, oh my God, we can't do that. They may call us fascists. Oh my God, they're literally shooting you.
It's amazing how much power they ascribe to these like news and media organizations that have basically been their only source of like information and worldview for most of their lives. It's like, it's so hard to like try to get them to like break with that completely. Like some of them do hate the like left media. They think they're all fake news. I was going to say another word, but I think they're all fake news and all that. But it's almost, for a lot of these older members, it's like that. I can't remember who described this phenomena first, but it's like, you talk to them about it, you get them on your side. They're like, oh yeah, this is bad. To hell with them. I don't care what they think. The next morning, they're like, well, like like CNN, like CNN, like it's such a frustrating struggle.
It's like they've reset and go back to their factory settings.
It is. They go back to their factory settings exactly, and their factory setting is the TV is God.
No. Yep. Very true.
This is what I just say. This is a generational issue. There's no way around it.
It's definitely a huge factor in it for sure. So, Maverick Jones for $5. RedHawk, can I still make an OGC chapter or join if you blocked me on Twitter? Well, I have over 5,000 people blocked on Twitter, so I'm constantly pruning that garden almost every single day. So don't take it too personally. But yeah, if I have you blocked on Twitter, you can still start an OGC chapter. So, all right, let's see. Omens for $20. Greatness is in the mind and in the fist. The glory of our tribe is not behind us. We can be great again, but the first thing that we have to do is say, I walk towards the tunnel and I'm on my own and I'm not afraid and I have no regrets. Well, I certainly have no regrets.
Amen.
Here. Underscore for $2. The incompetence of the ice shooter is comical. I mean, it is kind of funny, that the guy, attempted to shoot ICE, agents and ended up shooting two, ICE detainees or migrants, whatever you want to call these people. I mean, it is kind of funny. But at the end of the day, the guy should have never been in that position to do that in the first place.
I think I know we're very anti-conspiracy theory here on the OGC stream, but I think the thing which I find fascinating or really, really entertaining is the conspiracy theory that all of these leftist shooters are now resorting to bolt action rifles because USA dried up. That's my favorite conspiracy theory about this whole thing. I just can't get enough of that. It's funny.
Could be. I mean, I personally just think it's they want to keep continuity with other Bolsheviks, to be honest.
Yeah, they want to LARP as the frickin' Vasily Zaitsev guy, and like they want to be the heckin' base sniper on the Eastern Front, plopping krauts and all that shit.
With Mauser rifles, yeah. But I talked on Mr. D's Twitter space about that Mauser symbolism, and I'm like, there's got to be something like that they've talked about in the group chat or something on Discord, where they're like, oh, I'm going to use the enemy's fascist weapons against them or something. There's got to be some angle to that.
I would imagine so as well. I mean, like, listen, isn't it great when we have 3 Americans talk about guns and gun culture and don't have to listen to any like idiot foreigners have to talk about guns? I mean, the amount of retardedness I've seen out of people outside this country who, I guess like the street cred that people have outside of America is, oh, I went to America and lived there for like 2 years to go and work, and I shot guns for like 3 months, so I know what I'm talking about. It's pretty hilarious to watch and see. But, so now that we have like 3 adults in the room and can actually address this topic in full, there is definitely something to be said for. It's like, okay, these Mauser rifles, right? I don't want to say they're completely uncommon, right? Because that's not the case. Like you can definitely find them in the United States, and there's plenty of people that have them, right? But it's certainly not a coincidence that we have multiple cases now of these people using these kinds of guns. There has to be some reason that they're doing it.
I mean, a Mauser hunting rifle is actually quite expensive if you're buying it like off the shelf. It's a couple of grand. It's not like your Ruger rifle or anything like that you'd buy in any American gun store. It is a top of the line, bolt action for what it's worth. Now, the World War II surplus stuff isn't. I don't think that's actually a Mauser rifle. Just looking at a German manufactured Mauser rifle, just because the sling.
Aren't a lot of the Mausers out there like Czech and Yugoslav?
Well, that's what I was saying. I was looking at it. It didn't look quite Czech either. The closest one I could find where the sling was in, or the sling mounts were on the other side that the actual picture had it on was an Iranian manufactured Mauser, I think. I don't know if that's significant or if that's I was curious about it just because people like Mausers, so like I like Mausers a lot. I like old bolt action rifles, as so many people do, but it's just that was the one observation I found on that, is that it didn't really match with the German manufactured Mauser, the sling attachment. So
Charlemagne in chat is suggesting in-range TV. I know he was talking about that in a chat the other night. It could be that. It could be something as simple as that too, but it's certainly not a coincidence. I'll say that much.
I mean, when I saw the stripper clip, I knew immediately what kind of rifle it was. There's no mistaking that kind of stripper clip.
Indeed. Mana Yud Sushi for $5. The left does not care that you are not a Nazi. They don't care what you really believe. They call you a Nazi to justify deleting you. Be safe. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously true. I mean, it's incitement to violence is what the language is. Everyone is trained literally since, they could speak in this country that, the even worse than Satan is, to be mid-century German. And there's a reason why they label everyone this.
It's the magic word.
Exactly. And all these people are reacting accordingly.
It's not my magic word, but it is one of the magic words.
Yeah. Thomas Gans for $3. The thumbnail is fire tonight. Good work, boys. Cheers from the Peninsular Vanguard. Those boys up in Michigan. See you all in church on Sunday. Hear, hear. Absolutely. Cringe-Walker again for $2. Reality is Heavenly Mandate is lost. It certainly will be if they don't do anything. And the probability of that statement you just made right there, Cringe-Walker, increasing, it's literally going up by the day at this point. I mean, like, if you can't protect your supporters, man, that's literally bare minimum. This is like politics 101 stuff, basically, right? Forget politics. This is just like facts of life, literally. People learn this shit like on the playground, man. Like if you get in like a playground fight, like your friends are supposed to back you up, dude. And if they don't, they're not your friend. It's just really, really obvious stuff. Seasider for $10 sends us a salute as he does every week. Thank you very much. Christopher Burke sends us $2 and a salute as well. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Shaman McLemee for $5. Biggest hurdle are all the out-of-touch boomers. Yeah, it's definitely a huge problem. If the right acts too brash, the media will excoriate the right, and the boomers will agree and vote.
That right there is why we have not touched Social Security and probably won't until the damn thing blows up.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Maple Copperhead, another one of our prolific super chatters here, sent us $15. Salute, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Salute to you as well. Shaman McLemee, I want to say McLaramie, but McLemee for another $5. Wait a minute. That's in here twice. Yeah, we just read that one. Alrighty. And then we got Padre Speaks for $5. 1 year ago tonight marks Hurricane Helene hitting the southeast. I lost power here in the upstate for 9 days. Mad love for the OGC helping us all out. Absolutely. Well, thank you for your support, sir. And yes, OGC guys, every one of you who were listening in the chat here, many of you were involved in the relief effort. Other people were involved in the relief down here in Florida for Milton. So, yeah, OGC isn't stopping anytime soon. I mean, be thankful we've had a light hurricane season this year, but it will be back. Everyone needs to be forming their own groups in their own communities, in their own local areas, man. Get involved with the chapter. A hurricane, a forest fire, power outage, or even some attacks by left-wing terror groups. You need to have connections in your local area. Everyone does. You need to have people you can rely on. No man is an island. You can post all you want about your based opinions from your Anon profile, but if you have no tangible friends in real life, no people who share your values or who have your back when shit gets real, then all you're posting is literally for naught. Something everyone should be thinking about these days. Bulb's persona for $10. Chins up, back straight, salute. Bunch of galloping ponies. I dig it. Indeed. No blackpilling, gentlemen. No blackpilling. There's action to be had. We have work to do. We have to win. And then finally, our good friend Hunger the Dime Merchant, good friend of the show, sends us $25. I mentioned this on Twitter. The memorial service for Charlie was just a campaign rally. There should have been a public procession marching through small town Arizona, convoys of mourners following the casket, everyone wearing floral black like it's an actual funeral. He should have been canonized as saint live on CNN. I mean, there's definitely some criticism to be thrown at that one, I would say. I don't know if I would have the same ones as you, Hunger. There's definitely points to be made on that one, but I just can't imagine them doing that right now. I mean, they could barely arrest the guys that killed Charlie Kirk. What makes them think that they can have Tucker Carlson and the president and the vice president, Stephen Miller and everyone just walking down the street? I mean, just not the world we live in anymore. All right, that's it for the super chats, gents. Raging Mandrill, do you have anything to promote, sir?
Yeah, I do actually. I just I dropped an article on my Substack. I think earlier today. There's going to be another one dropping. I think either later this week on Friday or next week, and then I'm going to have some other ones that have been very, very long in the backlog, dropping either mid next week or later next week. So definitely go check that out, please.
Alrighty, everyone check out Mr. Mandrill's work. And Mr. Cooke, thank you for coming on tonight. What do you have to promote, sir?
Well, if you guys are interested, I have my own personal Substack, which is just John Esten Cooke. And then I also have a Substack that I collaborate on with a good friend of mine on Capitol Hill, who is also a friend of the club. It's called The Capitol Caller, where we've been a bit slow in getting stuff out recently, but we're both trying to correct that and try to get a steady stream of good behind the scenes peeks into the process of power for you guys. So if that's something y'all are interested, please feel free to check it out. It is free, by the way.
All right, definitely go check that out, everyone. And the only thing I will shill this evening is on Sundays. I'm playing some hunting games on my channel, streaming them, so people can go check that out if you want to see some gaming stuff. And the last thing I'll promote is everyone get involved with the OGC, man. Go to our website, look at the chapter page, look at one in your local area. It's becoming more and more important by the day for people to have local networks and local people to rely on. And this year in particular, man, there's been a lot of very interesting events that a lot of people have been hosting in their chapters. They're growing rapidly, and most of the chapters now have enough guys in them to put on these kinds of local events. And I'm hearing some interesting stuff coming out of all of our chapters all the time, man. It's really, really cool stuff. People should get involved. But we'll be back here next week for American Spirits on Monday, Chapter House on Wednesday, and of course, Pony Express Radio